What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here, and welcome back to another episode of my team, episode 29. We got the Italian Grand Prix at the legendary Monza track, and there, as you can see, we have a wet race incoming for this Grand Prix, a full wet race. It's going to be a very tricky one indeed around the Temple of Speed. But, however, that is the challenge we look forward to, and I don't mind driving in the rain. Not my favourite thing to do, but I don't mind it at all. And you can see the past couple of results have not been good. 17th at DNF and 18th in the last three Grand Prix since our podium finish at Austria. So we need to turn it around here at Monza, and we're going to jump straight into qualifying as always. And now, one thing to note, in practice, in FP1 and FP2, and I guess FP3 as well, I don't think I actually ran in FP3, but in practice I was running a very old engine parts, and then I was going to put in a fresh engine for this race. Unfortunately, I forgot to do it for qualifying, so I'm running with a really old power unit, and first lap around here at Monza I do a 19.7, and then I'm coming on the cooldown lap. I was preparing for another lap after this, so I jump over the curb and damage the side pods at the chicane. So anyway, and come to the end of the session, we got the car fixed, got a new set of tyres on. You can see how warm the engine is there when I was flicking through the menus. Very badly warm, but we're going to go for it anyway and try to get into Q2, but we were just losing so much speed on the straights, so it can hurt you around this track when you don't have a fresh power unit. As we're going to brake at the 100 meter board here in the turn 1, back to 6th gear, using a bit of curb on the inside, trying to get it nice. Probably missed the apex out the second turn a little bit. We got a decent exit though, and made up that time we lost on entry into turn 1, and we're pretty much matching our first sector time here, coming into turn 4 and 5. You can't be too aggressive with these curves down the 4th gear, and we've done that pretty well, and we've gained a lot of time compared to our first time to lap. As we come through the two Lesmos, I always struggle with the first Lesmo corner and getting that right. The second one's much more important because we got the long straight afterwards. As we now make the run to Ascari, this is such a fast high speed corner for a chicane anyway. 5th gear, 180 odd kilometers an hour, and then you got to get the confidence down to go through turns 9 and 10 as we head to the final corner, known as the Parabolica. I can't remember what it's been renamed to, but I know it has been renamed to a driver that passed away at this corner. Anyway, coming through 5th gear, high speed, throw the car in. We're half a second up on our lap time, but that's not going to be enough to even get us ahead of Nikita Mazepin, and we qualify in last with that old power unit and just a terrible qualifying. Ocon's able to qualify 11th, and the lap wasn't even that terrible, and we're that far off Esteban. We're just so much slower with the old power unit. It was really annoying.
It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
It is not the end of the world, and you can see the rain for the race. And as I come looking here at the components, you can see the ICE, it's got 71% wear on it. It's not at optimum, obviously. I forgot to put the third units in. But what I'm going to do, because it was a wet race, I was like, I don't really need a fresh power unit for a wet race, so I'm actually going to chance it with these older units and run the number 2 components for all of these bits in the wet race, because I don't need the power in the rain. So that was the decision I made. We'll see how that unfolds. But anyway, Lando is on pole with Bottas in second. So another pole for Lando, second consecutive. Hamilton and Verstappen on the second row is quite tasty, with Perez in 5th and Gasly. Leclerc and then Fernando in 8th. Good qualifying for him. Ricciardo in 9th. I believe he has a grid penalty, is why he's in 9th, and way off his teammate's pace. He's actually a little bit faster than his teammate, it seemed, in Q3. It had the minus there on the times if you were paying attention to that. So Ricciardo could have potentially been on pole for this race. Ocon in 18th. He also takes a grid penalty, which is annoying. Sainz in 20th, I believe. He's taken a penalty as well. Same as Russell, because we qualified last, and now Russell is last. So yeah, we line up in 21st on the grid. Full wet race, and intermediates are the preferred choice of tyre in these conditions. It's not quite wet enough for the full wet, but the intermediate tyre will be the choice of tyre. So yeah, looking forward to that. So getting ready now. We're going to get this practice out. It's pretty important actually, because I don't know what the grip's like in these conditions, so we'll see how we can launch this off the line. Actually, no, we're just going to skip straight to the end of the formation lap and get ready for this Grand Prix. But I can tell you from the experience, it was not a lot of grip at all. It was a very tardy start, and I'm not expecting much from this start. It's very difficult. The AI are pretty good in the intermediate conditions, getting off the line. So we'll see how we get off the line in these conditions. But here we go, ready for the 5 red lights. And it's go here at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. You know, it wasn't a terrible start. It's actually pretty even with Sainz and Mazepin. Russell got a much better start. He's challenging Mazepin. There's not much place to go. We break it in turn 1. I narrowly avoid Russell and my teammate. And we're now on the inside here, going very slowly. We're doing 40 kilometers here. As that is Latifi just bouncing across the coast. We have a huge moment on the rear end coming out of turn 2. We're now side by side with Nicholas Latifi. We put on the overtake mode. We've lost a lot of time to Mazepin ahead, who's also had found a lot of positions around the outside turn 1. We were on the inside. He was on the outside, and he made up positions. We passed Latifi here into turns 4 and 5, and now we are following Nikita Mazepin. We're going to get a much better exit and get down the inside into Lesmo 1. We go deeper on the brakes and just ease ahead into 17th place. So a decent start to go from 21st to 17th here. And now we'll see what our pace is like compared to the AI in these intermediate conditions. It's a tricky one, and we've just got to get used to the conditions, feel for how much grip there actually is. And you know the AOA are going to be pretty quick straight out the gate. They don't need a feeling out process like a human player does. So we're going to get more comfortable and more confident with as every lap goes by. So we have Mick Schumacher ahead of us, and we should be able to get past him pretty easily in the Haas, as the 2 Alphas are going side by side, and we have a bit of a moment on the rear end. Wow, well, that was a lucky escape there. But anyway, we're going to now move on to the end of lap 3 here. You can see Giovinazzi's pulled away from Raikkonen, and Schumacher's actually challenging Raikkonen a bit. There's yellow flags here at the final corner. That's a blue dot off the side of the road. It's an Alpine of Lundgaard. Lundgaard, our former teammate, has crashed or spun off at the final corner. He's not out of the Grand Prix. I don't know if he's got any damage, but that's quite bad for Christian Lundgaard, as now Mick Schumacher is actually challenging Kimi Raikkonen here into turn 1. So Raikkonen hasn't got the pace here early on in this Grand Prix, and Schumacher's going around the outside of Raikkonen here into turn 1, and he's got the line for now turn 2. What a move by Mick Schumacher. Can he hold it on the exit 2? Raikkonen fights back here, and he maintains 14th place as we all moved up 1 spot thanks to Lundgaard. So we're now sitting in 16th. They're still going side by side here, heading into the Dalla Roger chicane. Schumacher still on the inside line. He's going to try. Raikkonen's on the outside, and we pick our line here very carefully and get a much better run. Raikkonen edges ahead of Schumacher, and we need to now get a much better exit and easily pass Schumacher out of turn 5 for 15th position, as we're now chasing Kimi Raikkonen here into the Parabolica. We're late on the brakes. He's so much slower in the entry of the corner, and we hit him in the back actually. Really had a lot more entry and mid-corner speed, but now we've got no DRS in these conditions, but we've got a tow and we've got our overtake mode enabled. And with the slipstream, Raikkonen defends to the inside like he did with Schumacher, but we're going to go to the outside, and Raikkonen much later on the brakes, but I have the confidence and the grip to go around the outside here and then get the line in for turn 2 and ease and phase him out of the corner, unlike Mick. But Mick is also able to slip past Raikkonen in our little battle there. So Mick opportunistic gains a position, and we move into 14th as we now move on to lap 11. And you can see we had 6 seconds to Giovinazzi ahead. We've now closed him up to 2.3. So we're closing out a good half a second a lap compared to Giovinazzi. Sainz, we're dragging him along with us. You can see we've absolutely dropped the cars behind. Lundgaard's now got back into 16th and is recovering, but he just took Schumacher, who was 11 seconds. You can see little thing pops up on our MN and our MD there on our thing. I can't remember what it's called, whatever. As we now have a mechanical failure, we're retiring from the Grand Prix. No, this can't be happening. And I was straight away cursing myself because of all the worn bits I had on the car, and I just couldn't believe I'd had a mechanical failure for the second time this season. We had one in Baku, and now we have another one here at the Italian Grand Prix. What a disappointing, what a disaster. We were looking good. I think we could have scored points. We were really closing up to the cars ahead. We were all battling each other, and such a shame to retire from this one. So yeah, it is what it is. Lando Norris wins his second consecutive Grand Prix, however, with Bottas taking a third, Max Verstappen second. I thought Bottas was in second the way the cars lined up, never mind. But a second consecutive win for Lando Norris. His third win this season. Last episode, I thought he had won his first race of the actual career mode. It was actually his fourth win in the career mode. He won, it's his third win this season. He won at the race in Baku this season, and he also won at Baku in Season 1. So, well done Lando Norris, picking up his fourth career victory and a third win of the season, with another win from pole position. Our teammate Ocon finishes 15th. Stroll also retires from the Grand Prix after us, but Hamilton can finish 4th, with Ricciardo was in 5th place, I believe. There's the championship standings. We're still sitting in 9th position. Ocon in 16th on 15 points. We got 38. So as a team, we sit with 53 points, but we've now dropped behind Alpha Tauri, who jump both us and Alpine. So well done to them, picking up good points at one of their home races for the Italian outfit. So anyway, disappointing result to end up retiring from that one. Not much I could do about it. Mechanical failure, and I was thinking it was my fault. I should just put the fresh components in. Why try and risk something and get away with it in the rain? But I'll get to it when I get to it. But coming out of it, we had a dilemma here with the chassis morale and the workloads and stuff. And if you wanted to, keep morale up or lose a bit of cash by, taking a break for long-term results, short-term bit of pain with the 50k, but we get a bit of a morale boost, which could be quite useful. Or if we just decline, we don't lose the cash, but we lose the morale. So I think I accept this and just have the 30% increase in morale. But yeah, looking here at the time, I realised there was no failures. I was like, how did my car fail? That energy store for the first unit that failed in Baku, but I had no failures here. I was really confused. It turned out I had a gearbox failure, which I realised looking at this at a later time. So yeah, gearbox failure, which is quite disappointing. We make an upgrade to the chassis department, and now we're just going to make all our upgrades for the foreseeable future, which I don't know if these upgrades, I think that some of these will get in the car in time for the next race at Singapore as well. I believe most of our upgrades will go on for Singapore. We've got a few in the pipelines. You'll see it here in a second. But yeah, it turns out we had a gearbox failure. The gearbox was on its 6th race as well, and it gave up. So that was a bit disappointing. So I took that risk with all those worn parts, but we won't be using those parts again. We'll be using the fresh power units for the rest of the season. We should be able to. Might use it in like a couple of practices just to help the other unit out. But anyway, we make all our upgrades here. You can see everything we got coming in the pipeline. We're currently 3rd best car on paper. It hasn't translated to the track yet. We've got the best aerodynamics on the grid. So hopefully the amount of upgrades we've been making and surging forward, we can finally see the results on the track. And we need to get into Q3. I need to qualify much better, and I should be able to do that at Singapore, where the AR are a little bit weaker. So we'll see how it goes. And anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel for plenty more F1 content. With the new game coming out soon, I will be going to that game once I get through this career mode. So yeah, it's not far away, a week away, 8 days I believe. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you, and I'll see you for the next video, which will be the Singapore Grand Prix, where we hope for a much better result. Till then, goodbye.